Hey there, Joseph Varghese here, and New York Power Team, co-organizer with Frank Clark. We're going to get started very soon. We are discussing the New York City Basket Brigade, and Frank will be joining us any moment now. There he is. The
Hey
one and
there,
only.
how are you?
Fantastic, my friend. Doing absolutely great. Just closing off a few other things here. Great. So, yeah. So we're right now we're streaming on our Facebook New York Power Team page.
Nice.
And yeah, it's the first time Frank and I have been doing this. We actually did this with Doug O'Brien a few weeks ago. So we're here discussing the New York City Basket Brigade, something that I've been involved with for over a decade now, and we just talk about what's going to happen in the next few weeks. So
Sure,
Frank,
absolutely.
go for it, Frank.
So New York City Basket Brigade has been around in operating in New York for over 2 decades now, and it started out as a small kind of grassroots movement with a few people feeding people at Thanksgiving, and has ballooned now to the point where last year we fed over 2,200 people, and we served people in Westchester, the Bronx, all 5 boroughs, and parts of Long Island and Connecticut. So we're really proud of the work that we've done, and really grateful for all of our donors, our volunteers, our corporate sponsors that have helped with bulk food donations, and all the charities. We're grateful for them to, providing the names of the families who really need our help. And it really is, it's an extraordinary event. Every year, people get so much connection and contribution out of it. Just, especially when you're delivering the baskets and you see the faces of the families light up. This is an important, source of food for their families, and it's just a wonderful, feel good type of an event.
If you have kids involved, joining us, volunteering on the day of, it's an amazing experience for them as far as teaching them the values of giving, paying it forward, helping other people.
Absolutely. And the kids get so much out of it. The kids, and we've got kids as young as, 2 or 3 there running around and coloring the boxes and decorating with stickers. So there's something for everybody to do. And it really is a powerful way to share with your children just how much of a difference, you can make, just by volunteering. So we have volunteers who've come back with their children year after year. In some cases, the children are grown up now and are still coming back to help. And in some cases, even, assisting as organizers as well as volunteers and helping us plan the event.
It's a story with that, Frank, I want to share. When I first got involved with the Power Team back in 2002, 2003, one of the reasons why I got really involved with the Basket Brigade is because of a video that they shared. I think my first or second Power Team meeting. And basically what happened is a family, Rich Cooper, and I think Dan Topkins, they went to visit a family.
Right, Sheila in the Bronx in 2004.
Exactly. Yeah, Sheila in the Bronx. And she had gone through catastrophe, losing her daughter, basically the mother of
six children.
Six children, yeah.
Yeah.
And they did that for the Basket. They did a Basket Brigade. They saw like the yellow tape in the house, and then from that point and seeing that they could really add more value, they worked as a team with the Power Team, and they went on the process to kind of redo the home makeover, essentially home makeover.
Yeah, it really was an extraordinary effort by people like Rich Cooper and Ross Lagamina and Neil Cohen and I think Dan Hopkins you mentioned. I think Ellen Reich might have been in that. And this woman's grandchildren had witnessed their mother being stabbed to death by her ex-lover. So it was really a horrendous year, and this woman was left alone to raise the 6 children of her now dead daughter. And just they were all, traumatized by this, obviously, and they had very few resources. So what that group did in 2004, went back in there and showed up, worked with her church and social workers, and were able to, give her like a day in the city with the children.
Mm-hmm.
And
at time in a hotel.
They went down to Radio City Music Hall, went out to dinner at I forget what the restaurant was. But they really made it an all-day affair in order to keep them out of the house, because what the family didn't know was that they went back into the house with the social worker and the church and some volunteers from those organizations and remade the entire apartment, and including, ripping out and reinstalling cabinets and furniture, beds, assembling dressers for the kids with nice new clean modern furniture, and filled the refrigerator with food, brought in a Christmas tree, brought in dozens and dozens of Christmas presents for the kids. And if you watch that video, and I think it's on our website, or we'll post it in the Facebook group as well, it's really an impressive amount of effort. And they did the entire home makeover in less than 12 hours. And after the family's coming home on a high from having been in the Radio City, and they thought that was their treat, was going to Radio City and seeing the Rockettes and Santa Claus and all that, and the dinner, and they were in a limo and all that. They came home already, just like filled with, thankfulness from the day that they had, to come to this home that was completely redone, and they just couldn't believe it was their home. And
for
that
Christmas,
family
for Christmas too.
Yeah, for Christmas,
season.
just in time for Christmas. So that family has come back, and the grandmother came back year after year to help, actually as a volunteer, to help assemble those baskets for other people. And they've since moved out of the area, but they were incredibly grateful and came back and paid it forward for many years after that as well.
And the whole aspect of the Basket Brigade, what we're doing is it's about paying it forward. And when we make these deliveries, we're doing these deliveries anonymously. And we tell people that all we are, we're just a sender. We're just a delivery vehicle. This is from a friend, and we just ask you if you gain value out of this. Well, the note in the container says, if you gain value, if you got value out of this, then we just ask you to pay it forward. Help someone else in your community. So it's done anonymously, completely anonymously.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the reasons why. That's one of the reasons why I get involved. From those moments, or many of those moments that happen, similar to Sheila, each year, from making the deliveries, from people coming in this case in Brooklyn, to picking them up from us. Last year there was a lot of that happening. It's really those moments that really do inspire, that really enliven us and invite us to keep doing what we do each year. Go for it, Frank.
Yeah, absolutely. And the generosity of people, not just the volunteers, but the organizers who, we've been meeting on conference calls and in person and planning things, and working our tails off behind the scenes to make this happen. Joseph and Anna, Seamus, and a bunch of the organizers. We're meeting on Sunday nights to coordinate all the details. But the volunteers who step up and show up for those 2 days of moving and delivering baskets, helping us with the shopping and moving trucks and cleaning up, the churches and not-for-profits that help provide us with the list of families that are in need, so that we have somebody to deliver to, but also the venues that allow us to take over their church basement or the Brownsville Community Center, and really help us to make a difference in their communities. And then also, obviously the donors who contribute the money, or the corporate sponsors, corporate donors who donate, bulk quantities of food. We're incredibly grateful, because we couldn't reach nearly as many people without those large, generous donations. And of course, to all the people who help in other ways, from social media, spreading the word, to posting flyers up in communities, in pizza parlors and dry cleaners and supermarkets and delis. That helps us create the awareness to be able to raise more money, to be able to serve more families ultimately. And then the greatest thing about it is that it's all volunteer run. There's virtually no administrative cost. There's no salaries of any kind. So, nearly all of the money goes to feed families. So every $50 roughly is one more family of four more people who get to eat Thanksgiving dinner this year.
Yeah. So imagine the ripple that you're able to create by helping a family in need who's been struggling to have a warm, delicious Thanksgiving meal on their table. Imagine envisioning that this is family going through the Christmas season, knowing how well they were taken care of, and perhaps one day for themselves being resourceful enough to pay it forward themselves. And
absolutely,
that's
like Sheila has, and so many others have.
Yep. And that's what the experience is all about. It's about really helping people be resourceful, especially during a season where some people have so much abundance and we have potable water, the things that we have that we take for granted that other people don't have, especially hurricane victims too. Something we're doing this year to make this experience even more special is we're donating a percentage of the proceeds to hurricane victims in Puerto Rico and other areas too as well, because we know they're struggling too, especially. So it's not just about serving people here in New York, but it's also about kind of serving a greater community of people who are really struggling and who might even have the most difficult, challenging Thanksgiving of their lives this year.
Right. And that really, I think, resonates with all of us who've been involved with the Basket Brigade, because we've helped in a lot of other ways, that we don't necessarily talk about on the website, but certainly one way was during Hurricane Sandy when that hit New York, and we were working to feed families who had been living in relative abundance, right, with homes and jobs and so forth, but were suddenly wiped out and lost everything when Sandy destroyed their homes, and they had no place to live, and people were living in tent cities, and it was cold in November. And, that was, something that really hit close to home, how quickly things can change as they have now in Puerto Rico and Houston, and, with what's happened in other parts of our country. I mean, what's happening in California with the wildfires, in Mexico City, and, Las Vegas with the tragedy that just recently unfolded there. So all that, hits close to home, because we've gone through all of these things here locally in New York through the course of the Basket Brigade, and we've done what we were able to do in order to help people who are suffering.
Beautiful. Part of the mission of the New York Power Team, so much of the New York Power Team were the organizers around this. And we have people from all around helping us too as well also. And it's really about helping people be more resourceful. We share tools and strategies and resources around that, being emotionally strong, dealing with the beliefs we have, focusing on gratitude. When you're focusing on gratitude, it's difficult to have fear in the same equation, almost impossible.
Exactly.
So it's really about helping people be resourceful. We do this as a team effort. It's a lot of fun. Sunday
really it's a lot of laughs during the day, because I mean, even though you're doing good, it's not a serious, somber event. There's kids running around playing and coloring. Mm-hmm. There's people joking and socializing. There's a lot of breaks in between, and new friendships that are being born, relationships that have been born through the Basket Brigade. So it's kind of like you get more from participating and contributing and volunteering than you can possibly imagine. I see one of the comments here from Ricardo saying he's been taking his son since he was 2 years old. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. That's awesome. Incredible.
I'm hoping for my daughter this year. She's 2 years old as well.
Yeah,
her first Basket Brigade.
I've been bringing my son since he was 5 or 6 years old. When I first let's see, 2000. Yeah, so about 6 years old, and he was there sitting with my wife coloring boxes, and she was helping coordinate the other kids or whatever. So it's just, and he's grown up with it now. He's so cute. Like now he's preparing. He's done this a couple of years now because he learned how to do PowerPoints in school. So he's doing PowerPoint presentations about the Basket Brigade. He wants me to make a speech on, and I've done it before with him. I think 2-3 years ago. So he's doing PowerPoints for the brigade, trying to help however he can.
The great thing is we're a 501c3. We're official. So as far as getting donations, we're working with the Boy Scouts now. I spoke to Anna recently. I think that's something that's happening. And Girl Scouts.
And yeah, that's another thing. Like Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, organizations like that, where they're looking for opportunities, like service organizations like Rotary, or they're looking for schools that are looking for community service volunteer hours. I've signed a lot of papers over the last 6 years for all these kids to get community service credits. And again, some of these kids just keep coming back year after year, even when they don't need the community service credits, because it's just such a phenomenally good feeling that people want to be a part of it and come back year after year.
So here are ways you can get involved. So as you're touching on that. So obviously we need volunteers for the event. We often have anywhere from like 90 to about 150 volunteers at both locations. We have a location in Brownsville, Brooklyn, and also Hartsdale, near
Right,
Westchester.
Hartsdale, New York. The Hartsdale, New York location, and this is all on our website at www.nycbasketbrigade.com. But the Hartsdale location is at Our Lady of Shkodra Church in Hartsdale. It's across the street from the firehouse. Those of you who've been coming back year after year, that's where we've been for the last 3 years now. And Brownsville, the Brownsville Initiative, Brownsville Partnership. Do you know the location of that specifically?
It's in
It's
Brooklyn.
on the website.
Yep. And I'll very soon I'll share the website so you can kind of see what that looks like, as well as how to download flyers and how to make a donation. Every donation really counts.
Absolutely. Well, it doesn't. One basket costs us about $50 to assemble. Mm-hmm. So that being said, we're willing to, and grateful for any amount that you can donate. You can donate as little as 50 cents, right? It doesn't have to be $50. Every quarter helps, right? And if you feel like, you want to be a part of it and you can't participate financially as a donor, then again, we welcome you as a volunteer. Or if you have other resources. I mean, we've grown so much now, feeding 2,200 people is, a Herculean effort. And we're doing this all in 2 days. So we need a lot of volunteers, not only for the day of, but beforehand, to help us create awareness by posting flyers in your community. You can find those on our website. Download and print them on the website.
Or if you're going to if there's a sponsor of, or maybe an organization, you can donate 600 cans of food.
Exactly. Or if there are other things that maybe, seem nonlinear, like not just food donations, but, we had 1 year somebody got us donation of a moving truck that was able to help us deliver, like 130 baskets to the Bronx in one fell swoop. So that saves us a lot of time so that we don't have to deliver all those baskets individually. It's just going to another charity that is really good at distributing, and they have people coming in to do that. Actually, they deliver now, I think, 4 different charities in the Bronx. So we become sort of like a warehouse, but that moving truck actually makes that possible. Mm-hmm. So if you have connections that are in other businesses, they could all be helpful to us. And anybody, obviously, with media connections, if you know people in public relations, journalism, things like local newspapers, local radio stations, local television stations, anything like that. Political connections, if you have a politician in your community who's willing to, do a blast email, or a real estate organization that has a lot of email addresses that's willing to do a blast email. We'd welcome all of those types of resources. Things like, we had a restaurant that donated breakfast for the volunteers, for example. We've got people there for, 6-8 hour days, and, we need to feed them as well. So by getting donations of food for the volunteers, we don't have to eat into the financial donations that we can then use to feed more families that are, truly in need. And
on that side, if you know a family's in need who could be serviced by us, and let us know as well. Also, you can communicate with us, or if there's a church or synagogue you're affiliated with that
or
serves temple
or a secular organization, we add new organizations, each year. They change out, people come and go, etc. Same thing with, corporate sponsors. Circumstances change, people change, or donors. So we welcome all resources, because we're just all working together just to help try and feed these families. And
I'm gonna share the screens very shortly, but let me finish. You can finish your sentence. I'm sorry.
And again, just the website is www.nycbasketbrigade.com. There are links there for how to volunteer, how to register to volunteer, how to make a donation. You can do that right through the website. Learning about the details of the day, the logistics, as Joseph's shown on the page right now. If you're a corporate sponsor and you want to see a PowerPoint presentation, we've got one of those under corporate donors rather. So the flyers to post is up there. You can see on the top of the screen. And then under donate now, I think it also lists the different charities that we're working with currently. What's in a basket, just if you're curious what these families are receiving. It's everything from a turkey to potatoes, sweet potatoes, fresh fruit, to, stuffing, dessert, canned goods, juice boxes for the kids, and chocolates. There's even a picture of a sample basket on there.
Exactly. So it's all your whole process. Like, once again, it's all volunteer driven. If you even have web resources, if you want to donate and help us with the website, anything you can do as far as really making a dent in this area this year, feeding more people.
Exactly. Even if you've got social media expertise and just want to help us spread the message on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, something like that. Or if you're a photographer, videographer, or a video editor, we could use those resources. We generate a lot of video, and we'd like to compile that into something, like a little professional clip, and we could really use it like a video editor could help us with that kind of work.
Yep. As a first step, certainly you can sign up to the volunteer, make a donation. All that helps now. The earlier we have donations, the more families we can impact. If it's a day of the event, what happens is sometimes we'll donate those funds to charities around Christmas time or the following year. So ideally, prior to the event itself, you can make a donation. Even now, that would make a difference as like a starting
Absolutely. Point. The sooner you make the donation, the better from our perspective, because it allows us to determine how many families we're going to be able to feed this year. So logistics is something it's worth discussing right now, because a lot of people say, oh, can we just collect canned goods at our school or our church or something like that and bring the canned goods? Well, we love to, but we can't accept those canned goods because the logistics dictate that, when we have to assemble, 600 baskets, we need 600 identical items that we can put into the baskets. And a lot of times when people donate food, sometimes some of the cans or boxes are expired, and we can't sort through those. We simply don't have the time or the manpower to sort through to make sure that everything is not an expired item. And even if it's all not expired, the other challenge we run into is like, if you get 3 boxes of one item and 12 cans of something, how do you distribute those within the baskets? It becomes too confusing for the volunteers. And again, it just introduces more challenges, and we're on very limited time as it is. So the best way, if you're looking to do something on a larger basis, would be if you could sponsor one item, let's say cranberry sauce or stuffing or juice boxes. We've had juice box donors one year. We had soup donors several years. We've had cake mix and brownie donors. We've had cookie donors. So that's the kind of corporate sponsor, corporate donor we'd be looking for. If you work in perhaps the restaurant or food industry and you have connections to those kinds of people, please, get in touch with me, Frank Clark, and I'd be more than happy to talk to you and them and see if they'd be open to participating in some way and how they could best be a part of this initiative to feed these families in need.
And once again, we are a 501c3, so all right. So they
absolutely
have the opportunity to write it off. Any donations they make, even financial donations too, as well, to these families.
Absolutely, everything is 100% tax deductible. And again, because we're completely volunteer run, we all volunteer our time, effort, and energy. We're not paying salaries. We're not paying consulting fees. We're not paying anybody anything for their time. Only things like the website and website hosting, and some taxes, administrative fees to New York State and the federal government, etc.
Even our accountant, he does everything on the volunteer basis.
We even get our taxes done, donated by one of our members and our board members, David Block, who does a great job every year.
He does, yeah. He's a great guy. I think we're almost at any other closing comments, Frank, and I'm going to unshare the screen at this point.
No,
nycbasketbrigade.com, nycbasketbrigade.com.
Right. I just want to say thank you to you, Joseph, for helping year after year and being a part of this and organizing this webinar today. I appreciate it very much. Thanks for all you do behind the scenes too with social media and getting volunteers and donors. All of that helps, and what you do the day of, like organizing and showing up and coordinating logistics.
Of course, and I believe we all have separate abilities. We all have separate strengths. So it's one of my strengths here. Frank's a master of engagement. He's a connector, and he's really able to really tap into the hearts of people to really inspire them to take action. That's one thing Frank's great at. And we all have sort of abilities too. So focus on your strengths and let us know how you can bring someone forward to help us, make a difference.
We have so many incredible organizers and volunteers who come out year after year. Like I said, Anna is like the logistics and production queen. She does like 12 jobs, I think. She's unbelievable. She's just a fireball of energy and, incredibly competent, well organized. I don't know if we could possibly do this without her at this point, because she's just does such an extraordinary job every year. Seamus, who's just does an incredible job at fundraising and identifying, some of the larger donors, and Jason, who helps every year with the brownie mix and the boxes and some other things, and Tom Martin, who's helped with some media and some donors, and of course Michael Stark, who has just been an unbelievable godsend and getting some of his food industry contacts from Baldor to Fresh Direct to Imperial Bag and Paper to New York State Apple Country, and the massive amounts of donations that he's gotten for us through the years has really enabled us to really step up and feed more families. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. How do we feed these families and grow the program to feed more people in need each and every year?
Yeah. It's nycbasketbrigade.com to get involved. You can connect with Frank or myself through Facebook or through email. Our contacts are on the website. And so once again, thank you so much for watching this and really taking steps forward to help us this year with your donations, their volunteering, or encouraging other sponsors to support the cause too as well. Also, let's feed more families this Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
As well as help those who are struggling with the hurricanes and the fire issues in California. Let's all work together to make it happen. And if you can't help us with Basket Brigade, then certainly find a cause out there in your community that you can help with too, because it really is about paying it forward. And I believe that you will get paid 10 times back the investments you make, providing that you come from a very generous heart to do that. So find some organization or community to help out if it's not the New York City Basket Brigade. Thank you all so much.
And please donate early and often. nycbasketbrigade.com. Thank you so much, everybody. And if I didn't mention you by name, all the organizers and volunteers, there's so many of you, but thank you for all you do and helping us year after year.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a great day, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving.
God bless. Bye-bye.